Hey, what is up guys? So this is one of the final deck profiles that I'll be going through from the OTS Championship that we had at Halifax. If you remember this map, this is your deck profile. It's the glorious deck that I played very badly when he played Sword Soul. It was a great bet that day. I passed him Sword Soul from a bag. He realised that there was no Baron and it was very, very crudely built in under 20 minutes, and he passed me this. And thankfully Matt did a million times better than I did with the OTS. Just to put it out there, Matt, you still came lower than Amazonas, but you still did well. You did well, just lower than Amazonas. Gonna make you remember that to the end of time. But anywho, he decided to play Adventure Sprite, which is one of the many different versions of it. I'm not sure specifically why he went for this build instead of Runic or anything else. He did have access to it, but I think the whole thing of if you play a deck 100 times, you're going to be very good at it, and I don't know if he's played the Runic version, but I know he's very good at this, especially top decking evenly. That is a very useful card to top deck, but I'll put my bitterness to one side. So anywho, into the deck profile we go. So he plays 3 Ash, 1 Catty, 1 Penny, 2 Nimble Angler, 3 Beaver, 3 Sprite Blue, 1 Carrot, 3 Jet, 1 Red, 3 Swat Frog, 1 Wandering Griffin Rider, 1 Water Enchantress, Call by Dracoback, Faithful Adventure, Call by the Grave, 3 Prosp, 3 Rites of Aramesia, 1 Smashers, 2 Sprite Starter, 2 Talents, 3 Evenly, 3 Imperm. And then for the side, he plays 1 Drewsworm, 2 Magnamut, 3 Droll, 3 Bell, 3 Nibiru, 1 Red Resonator, 1 Harpies, and 1 Lightning Storm. And for the extra, it is 2 Sprite Sprint, 1 Avramax, 1 IP, 1 Bujingi Arashima, I think it's pronounced, 1 Toad, 1 Soul Sweeper, 1 of the Ninja Shadow Mosquito, 1 Mannequin Cap, 1 Melfi of the Forest, 2 Sprite, Gigantic Sprite, 1 Downed, 1 Zeus, and 1 Herald. So the standard thing from this that's different to the other Sprite builds that you can do, because this is a tuner, is you can actually make Herald of the Arclight in this, which is pretty decent, considering one of the players that I do know off the top of my head was playing Dark World, which this kind of just kills Dark World because it's a macro in certain circumstances. Against other decks, it's just a free Omni Negate, but having that effect that turns stuff in, well, banishes stuff for free is always very useful. The other things from the extra that are interesting is that he does play the Melfi of the Forest. So the Melfi of the Forest gives him the free access of the Melfi Penny so that he can get the free special so that he can actually synchro during his opponent's turn. I do find it a bit weird that he doesn't play the other Melfi that can attack directly, or the Cat Shark, because I do actually think, well, Cat Shark doubles attack but doesn't attack directly. But there's a Melfi that does allow you to attack directly, but he's opted for the one that searches instead. I guess it's just for the free search for Zeus, but sometimes this can just come up for when time's coming around the corner. Free 2k to the face is always good. We learned that from when we played Nightmare Shark back in the day in Burning Abyss. The Mannequin Cat, I'm not actually sure what he would actually summon off with the Mannequin Cat, because usually it's used for your extra deck if you play things like Chaos Hunter or Jinzo or things like that, but I don't actually see that in his side. There wasn't that many Labyrinth, if I remember at all, if there was even a Labyrinth player, but I do know that Jinzo is actually sided for that purpose. Same with the Chaos Hunter, it's used for the Runic matchup, because it's harder for them to be able to do stuff when they can't banish, and also sometimes drawing the Chaos Hunter against a flu deck is actually quite fun. Really, really fun. And there is also this as a different option for dark decks. The only reason this actually came to mind is because I used to play this spec in the ye olde formats, but since Dark World has actually become a thing and there was a few dinos and some other decks that do exist, this is actually an alternative dark target. I saw it used during tier because you could go the Mannequin Cat on one of the dark tiers, and then yeah, your opponent can't use their graveyard. Quite fun. It's like playing the Necro Valley but better. Side seems pretty standard, except for the Bestial stuff. I don't see Bestials played as much now because Lich isn't a deck, so they don't hit as much. Tier was represented by one person there, but again, it's not really a deck that you kind of see coming that often. It's mainly for Labyrinth I'd actually see it being used for, but you can beat Labyrinth with just playing regular stuff because not all of the main deck dev, so you should have a great answer to it. Droll hits everything, or at least 99% of stuff. Bell, because it's the alternative to Ash. Is the alternative to Ash, or sometimes actually better Ash, dependent on the matchup that you're going up against. Nibiru, because it's just Nibiru, your opponent always plays into this, and it's quite fun. Red Resonate for time, and Harpies and Lightning. I don't get why he doesn't just play 2 Lightning. I guess the Harpies does sometimes come up, but I just play the 2 Lightning. But dude, you're already maxing out on the Evenlies. As for the main, he's opted for a slightly different approach than what most Sprite builds go for. So quite a lot of Sprite that I've seen for just go, I'm not playing any hand traps, I'm just going to play board breakers, so that they don't main the Imperm, they don't main the Ashes and things like that. They just go full, I'm just going to just play through all your stuff. But Matt's approach for this is a bit of half and half, because if you open Imperm in the certain matchups, you can just auto win by just preventing your opponent from doing stuff. As I've seen with when there was Darkwold and Dinos there, it does actually hurt a lot, and there was a strike player, you Imperm the right thing, and they don't have Eagle Booster. They're just going to have sad times, evenly, because not a lot of people actually main this or main stuff to deal with it, so you can just have a free board wipe, and that's all it really takes sometimes. Or it's just a free negate bait, where your opponent negates this, it's like, cool, I'll now continue with the Sprite stuff now that I know that you've got one less thing for me to deal with. The adventure stuff, I guess, is better to draw the rights than it is to draw the Water Enchantress, because this can be negated. There's not as much stuff that negate this, so it just gets activated and your opponent can't really play around it because they have to negate the Fateful Adventure, or you just get free access to Griffin Rider and then just win from there. If you already have access to some of your negates before then, you can actually set up all your negates. And fair enough, you can't summon the Griffin Rider straight away, but if you have access to the red and the carrot and that, you can just special this during your opponent's turn and just have free fun. As for everything else, it's pretty standard. You don't need multiples of carrot and red. There are some builds that do play additional carrot or additional red. I think it's incorrect, so it's Matt. That's one thing that we universally agree on. The Swap Frog package, it's because he still wants to go into Toad, because of the Boojin combos itself. It does give you free access to that. It's harder to get to, and if you don't draw the correct line, you won't be able to summon the Toad, so it's just dead card in your extract. But it's a risk that he plays for it, and it does actually do pay off, because if he makes the full board of about 4 negates, it's quite difficult to play around, especially when you've had as much practice as he has at this. You know just what you need to play around in certain matchups, so it's the case of I don't need to kill you, I just make sure that I don't die. The only thing that I think is just which I would have slightly different is I don't see as much of a purpose to the Avramax, because I'd rather think that Nightmare Unicorn is probably a better card because you can IP into the Unicorn. Fair enough, Avramax that is made from an IP is very difficult to out, and I will not state anything against that. It's god awful to deal with. Well, for other people to deal with, I play Rune and Plunder, so I just kaiju it. But it's still god awful to deal with. Another thing that I think that probably I'll play differently slightly is I'd have either access code or a Nightmare Unicorn, because Unicorn's just free outs to stuff. But I guess it doesn't really matter when you open up like a board of Herald plus this. If you set back row, your opponent knows it's either an Imperm or a Smashers. So yeah, it's just free outs to stuff. But besides that, I don't really have much to say on the list, because I kind of sucked really bad at testing this, and Matt's probably the better guy to go through for this, which we will be going through a deck profile of, well, not a deck profile, but him playing against Flunder with Phantom Knight, which was quite fun. But besides that, I can't really think of anything to go into about this deck without doing it absolute complete injustice. So Thanks guys for watching. If you have any suggestions of how to improve it, please do let us know below in the comment section. I'll be trying to post up more stuff for OTS events that we do, not the OTS championships, but the OTS that we do on Wednesdays. It's when we do our Yu-Gi-Oh event. It's Wednesday night Yu-Gi-Oh from 6 o'clock onwards, and hopefully we will be getting the streaming sorted out soon so that we can actually start streaming this on Twitch as well. But I'll be signing out now. Peace.